the Board of Trustees, Center for Spiritual Living, Prescott, Arizona.
This world, I am the light, I am the light, I am the light of this world.
He's doing instruments.
Reverend Kathleen Sibley, Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Prescott.
I am the light, I am the light, I am the light of this world.
Reverend Leslie Goodwin, Co-Senior Minister at New Vision Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Catherine McDowell, Center for Spiritual Living Minister. Reverend Dr. Betty Henderson, Practitioner Emeritus, Soul Rays Unlimited. Practitioners of the Center for Spiritual Living, Prescott. John Haas, Diane Zell, Sally Kasner, Grace McManus, Steve Higgins, Mel Hirsch, and Hazel Bowman. Our graduates, Sharon Tice, Sandy Kimberly,
Yes. We shine so bright. And so let's open this beautiful, joyous ceremony in prayer. And so I invite you to be comfortable in doing so and closing your eyes. As we elevate our consciousness, heighten our awareness in knowing that magical presence, that majesty that we call God, Spirit, Allah, Buddha, Jesus, the great I am, divine love. And I know that this universal energy, this presence is right here, right now in this room. Blessing it, filling it with love, with that perfection of its presence. And so I know right now that this graduation stoning ceremony ahead is absolutely perfect in every way. That I know that our graduates are taking their steps forward in their joyous journey. And I give thanks for their instructors over the years, and to Reverend Kathleen for the last 2 years, in leading them, guiding them on this journey. It's a joyous journey. It's one filled with the knowing of God in all situations, everywhere present. I claim that this service is absolutely unfolding in divine right order. That every single person here has met their energies, their contributions of labor, of love, their gifts, in ensuring that this ceremony is that joyous journey that Sandy and Sharon are now on. And so I give thanks for this moment. I give thanks for God. I give thanks for this presence that abides within each and every one of us, because it is divine love. And we are its expression of itself. And how perfect it is knowing that universal law, that heart of God, always comes back saying yes. And it manifests whatever we put into it. It manifests as us. And so I give thanks. I know all ahead is perfect, it's ideal, it's all God. So let's just enjoy it. And I claim it and anchor by saying, and so it is.
So I do believe we need this mic.
Kill it. Got it.
I'll just do this.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Reverend Kathleen Sibley. It is my honor to welcome you to our very first practitioner graduation here at the Center for Spiritual Living in the past 10 years.
I'm so grateful to all of the many volunteers who have decorated and supported, to Hazel Bowman, who got everybody in line and kept us there the whole time. And for all of the people it took to get from the beginning of Foundations to here. I will let you know, those of you who don't know what it takes to become a practitioner. The first class is Foundations, and that's 10 weeks. There are at least seven classes one must take that are between 8 and 10 weeks before you are allowed to even consider becoming a practitioner. Practitioner year one is 30 weeks. So it's basically September to spring. Three separate terms and a great big old final exam at the end of each of them. My teacher referred to it as spiritual surgery. Basically, your instructors ask you to take out your guts, spread them all over the room, and look at them. And try to find something beautiful. Having done that, by invitation, you can begin Practitioner 2, which is another 30 weeks of learning how to do the business side. In my Practitioner 1 class, we had, I believe, 15 students, and four of us graduated. In my prac class, in my foundation class, we started with easily 20, between 20 and 30. So it is not a large number of people who become practitioners. This Ladies, it's the beginning of what we call Prac 3. This is where you get to take all of that learning and turn it into action. Now, nobody does this alone. And so for the educational part of this, which takes about 4 to 5 years, I'm going to ask Bill and Tom to present their certificates of graduation to their spouses because this is as much their graduation as the ladies. So I'll ask you to come up and present those certificates. See, that's what happens when we fall down on the job. That concludes the secular section of this day, not the whole graduation. We will now have a reading of the Declaration of Principles by my dear friends and colleagues, Reverend Catherine McDowell and Reverend Leslie Goodwin.
Ernest Holmes said this in the words of I am,
And it
and it was
chosen
as the definitive nature of what religious science is all about.
We
We
believe in God,
the
the living
Spirit
Spirit
Almighty,
one,
indestructible,
indestructible,
absolute,
and
and
self-existent
self-existent
cause.
cause.
This
This
one manifests itself in and through all creation, but it's not absorbed in its creation.
The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We believe in the incarnation of Spirit, every person, and that all people are an incarnation of the one Spirit.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding.
We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God.
We believe that God is personal to all who feel His indwelling presence.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual, and that any person may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it.
We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind.
We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal lovingness, the eternal kindness, and the eternal giving of life to all.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. For we understand that the life of each of us is God.
So, when I was a little Catholic girl, years ago, I was told that to have a vocation, to have a calling was a very special thing. And it is. It is a very special thing. And so while I might be facing you, ladies, I want you to know I'm talking to you. It is my job to offer the call. Each of us gets a call if we are to be practitioners and ministers. Each of us is called to our form of ministry. And the practitioners in this room all know it, right? Back to basics. This teaching is born out of the Judeo-Christian tradition for the most part. Not entirely, but for the most part. And I would remind you, ladies, that in Deuteronomy it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children and talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up." That is the first command. And in the New Testament, in the book of Luke, chapter 10, it says, on one occasion, an expert in the law, meaning the law of Moses, because all of these people were Jewish, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "What is written in the law?" he replied. "How do you read it?" He answered, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and all of your strength, and with all of your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Now, in some versions, in some translations, it says everything else is just commentary. So that's when the talking heads would take over. But what it really means is, first, we love God, the God of our understanding that lives within each of us. We take care of that God and are in constant contact with that God first and foremost, with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our strength. You must practice good self-care. You must practice good self-care. You must practice good self-care, or I will make you do the seed soil plant dance. You too have always done that in a wonderful way. The second part is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that is what we do as practitioners. In our case, it takes the form of teaching and healing. Here we have a former psychiatric nurse and a former teacher. You have been practicing and practicing for this moment and this job your whole lives. You already have this in you. It is part of you. If you had tried to ignore it, bad things happen. You would have been untrue to yourself. You had to go into the teaching, into this teaching, in order to find that place within yourself that made you know that when you looked at your kids and saw perfect, whole, and complete rather than schizophrenic, oppositional, defiant, and those are fun. That's just a rough one, huh? When you looked at your kids and saw someone who needed to learn to read and to read something that meant something, it was that part of you, that soul call at work, making you a teacher and a healer. And today you are being brought into a group of people that live from a soul call to teach and heal with the full consciousness that we do so with all the power of life itself. That we heal because we know spirit can heal. We cause physical healings to happen. We cause changes in circumstances to happen. And there is nothing that spirit through you cannot do except that which we will not allow. And so, Ernest Holmes had a definition that I have tweaked slightly in order to make it not gender specific to males. The one who attempts to heal herself or another through recognition of the creative power of mind and the ever availability of good is a mental and spiritual practitioner. Such a one refuses to allow negative thoughts to control her consciousness. She endeavors to greet the divinity in every person she meets. It boils down to that. She endeavors to meet the divinity in every person she meets. The one in the mirror is first. Our fundamental belief is that it is done unto us according to our belief. And as you choose to meet the divine in every one you meet, you will absolutely bring it forth. You will absolutely make those people shine and have them discover aspects of God they didn't know existed before. That is your call. That is now your job, no matter where you are and no matter what you are doing. Both of our two students have elected to answer the call, and so I'll call Sharon forth first.
I have to put on my glasses so I can see.
You have to talk to the mic too.
Okay. I'm filled with joy and gratitude today, and I salute the greatness of the team of people who have supported me throughout my journey towards becoming a practitioner. I am so thankful for all of you. I first salute my teachers, Reverend Kathleen, Reverend Catherine, and Reverend Leslie. Kathleen, you are my minister and my teacher, and I love your honesty and your humor. You not only taught me, but also guided me and encouraged me throughout my journey. You have always been honest and direct with me, and I bless and love you. Reverend Catherine. Catherine, I love you for your grace, your wit, and your wisdom. I love you. And Reverend Leslie, for teaching me, loving me, guiding me, understanding me, helping me to work through times of anxiety, and for your wicked sense of humor. I love you. I salute the practitioners who have been so accepting and supporting of Sandy and myself throughout our journey to this day. I so appreciate you all. I appreciate those who stepped up to have us do practice sessions with us, and for those who participated in practice panels to help us feel more comfortable when the real panels came along. I thank you also for the classes that I have attended, for adding to my knowledge, for answering questions for me, and for your kindness. Thank you to you. You have been there for me, allowing me to seek your guidance. I wanted to give special thanks to a couple. I want to thank Grace for always being my voice of reason. I give thanks to Karen Rader for her call and her prayer yesterday that meant so much to me. And special thanks to Hazel for putting together this graduation along with Reverend Kathleen, for allowing me to be a part of the pet ministry, and for tutoring me on Dropbox. I also thank you, Hazel, for your vast knowledge and for showing me what a wonderful example a practitioner is and does. I salute all of you, my CSLP family and friends. You are all kind, loving, encouraging, and accepting. And I give great thanks to those of you who volunteered to help to make today such a special occasion. I especially want to salute my dear friend Barbara, who always listens, encourages, and who also stepped up to do a practice panel with Sandy and myself. Barbara, I love you with all my heart. I salute my own family who love and support me. My daughter Lisa, who is my heart, my sister Jo, daughter Lou, and my wonderful grandchildren Stephen, Megan, and Johnny. And my very best friend forever, Lynn, who is my sister from another mother. And to my husband, Bill, I love you, and I am blessed that you are kind and patient and always allow me to follow my dreams. And finally, to Junior, who always accompanied me to every Zoom class, who pretty much everybody knows. He's 3 pounds of love and devotion. And so on this joyous day, I can only say thank you to all of you. And I assure you that I aspire always to be a practitioner of great compassion, understanding, support, and love. I will always aspire to see the goodness of God in all that I encounter and to see the truth in all. Again, thank you to everyone for your love and your support, and I bless you all with all of my heart.
Good afternoon. Wow, it's a lot to follow, isn't it? So today is the end of a joyous journey and the beginning of another. In this moment, what I know is that I am joyously grateful. 5 years ago, I seldom counted my blessings or prayed. First, with my husband's help, I began listing what I was grateful for nightly, and it felt right to do. Then I started classes here at the center. I enjoyed them, and again, it felt right to me. Many of the classes were designed to help us grow, and I grew, and with great feelings of gratitude. Ernest Holmes wrote, "Gratitude is not only a virtue, but it also is part of a practical philosophy of daily life. There is no wiser way of living than to remember every morning what life has given us and to lift up our thought in thankfulness for every bounty we possess." As I chose gratitude, a great deal more often I felt a sense of peace envelop me. As I stayed in this moment, not straying to yesterday or tomorrow, being grateful right now, I was much calmer. Serenity came more often and stayed longer. Finally, as I focused on gratitude and serenity, I could more easily love. I love people and animals, and I'm certain that they are doing their very best at any given moment. This feeling of love warms me and lifts me up. This brings me to what it means to me to be a practitioner. This study has led to my gratitude, serenity, and love. My role as practitioner is to live these principles and help others see what principles they wish to have in their lives. To me, this is about teaching. I will teach classes and work with individuals to help them see where they might want to go on their life path. I carry my gratitude, serenity, and love to any situation I find myself in and revel in helping others. I do feel called to this opportunity. I accept the call, knowing I am God's expression, and as I move forward, helping people see their spiritual perfection. I know I am simply a conduit of spirit. This is a great feeling because I know that I'm never alone. In addition to spirit, many people have helped to get me where I am today. First, I'm grateful to my parents. Although they are gone, they instilled in me a value of honoring every person I come in contact with. They believed every person deserved respect and had something to teach us, no matter their religion, culture, age, color. Their diversity only enriches my life in their giving and my receiving. I'm so very grateful to my husband. When we met 8.5 years ago, he began talking about God right away. He's deeply spiritual and has been patient with me as I matured spiritually. He is always there to answer a question or simply have a discussion. He has supported me during these 2 years of prac training in numerous ways. Thank you, Tom. On this topic of gratitude and patience, I am very grateful my teachers had endless patience. Reverend Kathleen Sibley, Reverend Catherine McDowell, and Reverend Leslie Goodwin answered endless questions, generally with a straight face. Thank you to all of you. Also, the wonderful practitioners at this center have given me hours of their time and buckets of their wisdom. My greatest gratitude to all of you. This whole process has changed me significantly. I'm a more joyful person, and my belief system has changed. I thank my family and friends for being open and accepting. They've asked questions and been open and allowing me to become who I am today. Sometimes people don't like other people to change. Thank you. As for this wonderful graduation and Stoling ceremony, I'm very grateful to everyone who had a part in it and helped carry it out. There are too many to mention, just showing how blessed I am. Thank you to all of you. I mentioned at the beginning that of my talk today that this is about a joyous journey ending and another one beginning. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know exactly what I will be doing, but I know whatever comes because of this program, it will lead me and the people I love to wonderful places spiritually. And so it is.
So, don't get comfortable. Come on up here. It's okay. This teaching brings many gifts. So, I'm going to ask you to come step forward a bit, and I'm going to ask that your other teachers flank you. Catherine. I'm going to ask that 30 weeks times 2 of all of this. I'm going to ask that the teachers stand next to the students, because that's what we do. Sharon and Sandy, Are you prepared? Okay. Are you prepared to take on the responsibility of being practitioners of religious science, and do you fully understand the depth of such a commitment? This is a very serious thing. There are certain ideals set forth to which practitioners strive to adhere. First, practitioners are charged to maintain a state of spiritual awareness by treating daily for the expansion of their own consciousness in order to be mentally and spiritually prepared to meet any condition. Do you dedicate yourself to this ideal? I need to be able to see you as I talk. Practitioners maintain a relationship of confidence, integrity, and trust with all clients. Confidentiality is a sacred trust. Do you dedicate yourselves to this ideal? Practitioners remain dedicated to their primary function, which is spiritual mind treatment. This is to be done on behalf of clients at their request. The practitioner is also dedicated to being a spiritual light and resource, practicing and teaching the principles of science of mind. Do you dedicate yourself to this ideal? Practitioners serve as role models. The conduct, speech, and personal appearance of the practitioner needs at all times to reflect the dignity of the profession. Do you dedicate yourself to this ideal? Practitioners are spiritual leaders in their spiritual community and dedicate themselves to the full support of the center, its minister, its teachings, programs, and ministry. Do you dedicate yourself to this ideal? And finally, and perhaps of greatest importance, practitioners recognize the inner authority of the Spirit that has called them to this holy work and are inwardly guided in all circumstances in order to outwardly demonstrate the kingdom of God. Do you dedicate yourself to this ideal? As you have personally dedicated yourself today to these high ideals, so it shall be, according to the commitment of your heart and mind. You are engaged in a very specialized and necessary work. We need you. The Centers for Spiritual Living needs you. Center for Spiritual Living Prescott needs you, and the world needs you. We see you continuing to be guided and blessed as your dedication blesses us. In the name of all the ministers and practitioners of the Center for Spiritual Living, I welcome you. Could you please give them their stoles? Please be seated.
Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. You will do amazing things with the joys each new day brings, and with every step you take. Bless the presence that you make, the reason that you live. there in every gift you give. Love your life and love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Y'all know this one? Let's sing it to them. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Know the places you will go, the people you will know. Don't worry about where, when, or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. Need to look ahead or back. Just be smileful this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes the deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So take a breath, close your eyes, and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. One more time. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Thank you so much, Jackson. Practitioners of the Center for Spiritual Living, I read many ideals which you have been living for a long time. Can you consciously reconnect with those ideals in this moment? We have a covenant that the practitioners wrote that adds to those ideals, and John will read it so that our ladies can sign it today.
The mission of this hot mic, the mission of the practitioner team is to reveal the truth of every person, of every situation as perfect God, perfect person, perfect being, and perfect life unfolding. We have the covenant, practitioner's covenant says, we, the practitioners of the Center for Spiritual Living Prescott, pledge our time, talents, treasures, sacred service, and unique gifts to the higher good of each other, our minister, our board, and the spiritual community. We are committed to expanding and living the global vision. With unconditional love, we commit to practicing and teaching the principles of truth, recognizing each person as an individualized expression of the One. We, in consciousness, hold the high watch for the Center for Spiritual Living Prescott and its creative evolution. We celebrate each person's authentic self as we share spiritual tools that transform personal lives and make the world a better place. Thank you.
Right there so they can sign it. Can you bring it over to that?
You get to join us in this. And so it is witnessed and written. Thank you.
Today, we also choose to honor all of our practitioners, and so I will ask them to stand.
That's your sign.
And while Hazel is handing these out, know that not everybody is physically present with us, but we do honor all of our practitioners. Hazel Bowman and Grace McManus have each served for 5 years. Diane Gazelle, John Haas, Steve Higgins, Sally Kasner, and Dave Scherer have each served for 10 years. Karen Rader, who I believe is with us online, has served for 15 years. Sue Scherer, who is down in Phoenix today with Dave, has served for 20 years. And Mel Hirsch, who was given the honor of being called a practitioner emeritus, has served for 35 years. Do you, the congregation, promise to support these practitioners through your own prayers and to allow them to support you in times of your own need? Excellent. Ladies, take your place with your fellow practitioners. Which way do you want to go down, Sharon? Not quickly. I mean, the fast way may not be the best way. You certainly can. You may as well stand up, Sandy. You're not done. Every time they thought they were done, I made them do more. Hazel, could you please stand as well? In the name of the Centers for Spiritual Living and the members of your own congregation, I acknowledge you for dedicating and rededicating your life to continuously practicing the presence of God. We acknowledge you for committing yourself to your own personal spiritual growth. We acknowledge you for the demonstration of peace and harmony in your life. We acknowledge you for the demonstration of abundance and health in your life. We acknowledge you for radiating divine love, order, joy, and harmony. We acknowledge you for committing your entire life to being a practitioner of God, to being a practitioner of Centers for Spiritual Living, and for being a practitioner of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Prescott, and for being a practitioner for the entire planet Earth. You are awesome, and we love you. May you be blessed eternally, and so it is. Please be seated. Back that up, Clay. Back that up. You can do it. It shall be done. We have practitioners who will pray it in. So earlier today, I was shoving people away from the front doors, mostly so that none of you would see this.
And so far, it's worked great.
I want to acknowledge for you that this was the work of Hazel Bowman. She is a pit bull, and luckily she's on our side. We ready?
Hello to all my dear friends in Prescott. I'm just so honored to be a part of this wonderful celebration. So to you, Sandy and Sharon, you are just stepping into an amazing journey. You're completing one part of this journey and stepping into something so beautiful, being a practitioner. So I just send you all my love and support. My dear classmate, Reverend Kathleen, thank you for leading this amazing community. And, you know, my relationship with you goes back many years. This was a song that I wrote that Dr. Bob had a deep love for. So for all of you there, and particularly for our new graduates. I am one of many with just one life to live. Gifts I have, great and small, I give them all. I give. Simply, purely, from my soul I give. Here I am, so to be used. Spirit beats of me, I will be. Here I stand, here to serve. Lord is leading me, I will go. I see the gift unfold. Here I am, a vessel to be used. Needs of me, I will be. Whatever Spirit needs of me, I will be. I will be. I will be. Thank you for serving.
I did not know that I was going to be following the immensely talented and wonderful Reverend Michael Gott when it came to be my turn to come to the podium. Right? It is said that we never really get to know how much we touch and whom. That we never fully get to understand the way our teaching and our love has rippled out into the community, into the greater planet. As Mel will attest, 30-some years is a lot of prayer, a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of teaching. I am one of countless beloveds on this planet and formerly of this planet who were honored enough to be taught, to be trained, and to be loved by Reverend Catherine McDowell, as are our brand new graduates and thousands and thousands and thousands of others. Being taught by Reverend Catherine is a very interesting balance of humor, wisdom, and having someone yell at you, "Stop doing that! Stop doing that!" It's sometimes brutal, always accurate, often hilarious. Sometimes it involves mechanical chickens. Mechanical chickens. Or whatever else is on hand to make the lesson work. It was taught to me in ministerial school, never let a good title get in the way of a really good sermon. And I think that Reverend Catherine has expanded this to say, never let good curriculum get in the way of the better lesson. She's the first one to throw the book out the window to get to the principle instead, and to make sure it's getting so deep into that you will never forget it. She's the first one to call you up and say, "Hey, kiddo, you just wandered through my mind today." And when out in the world you say, "Oh, I went through both years of practitioner training with Reverend Catherine McDowell," there's a balance of, "You are so lucky," and, "Oh God, you lived through it." 30 years is a long time. We have a habit around here of doing 5-year increments, as my practitioner graduate Hazel knows, who's completing her 9th year and just got her 5-year pin. And so now it's 33, not 30, and yet here we are honoring Reverend Catherine McDowell after her 30 years of ministerial training, working, learning, serving, and studying with dignitaries like Michael Beckwith, Kathy Hearn, Bob Henderson. Perhaps you've heard of Bob. Michael Gott. Heavy hitters in this movement who have changed the world. And when her name is mentioned among any of them and beyond, there is never a question that she is the real deal. And so I would like to invite up to the podium Reverend Catherine McDowell.
Oh, I get to talk. Might as well sit. Might as well. I had a sign on my chair. It says reserved seating, Reverend Catherine McDowell. And golly, what it made me think of is when I was 5 years old, because I think I had reserved seating from the beginning. It must have been about 1955, 56. Some convention was on TV, you know, the TV with the round screen, that one, black and white. And I was walking through the living room. I'm about 5 years old. And I looked and I see all the banners and the yahooing and everything, and somebody's talking and they're applauding. And my little 5-year-old mind said, I have something to say too. So the calling for each of us is dramatic for each of us whenever it arrives. And then we find out that it isn't we're the ones that are doing the talking. So, you, thank you for this. I didn't expect this. I'm always glad to have it. And we'll talk about the dancing people later. This is wonderful. This church is wonderful. My nephew is married here. Dr. Bob, of course, and Betty, and so many other people. That Dr. Bob was my first associate minister. He was Valley of the Sun, and I was his assistant. And we just stayed connected forever and ever and ever. And he taught me, and he laughed at me, and made life worthwhile. Made life worthwhile. So thank you for allowing me to bomb the activities today, because each of us has that calling. And sometimes we're called to be the ones who take care of the bookstore, and sometimes we're called to be the one who works in the office. But understanding that internal calling is the most precious of all. Ernest Holmes was doing a dedication of a church in central LA, and his closing remarks were, the important nature of this church and the people in it is not that you build something big, not how many people are in the seats, not how much money is in the bank. What's important is that our consciousness is so clear on this teaching and what it means to the wholeness of the cosmos, that people will drive by here without ever knowing we're in here, let alone what we're doing, and by that consciousness, they will be healed. So that's your work, girls. Whether you're buying groceries, or you're driving the car, or you're on your knees or the chair in prayer, the only thing that's important is the consciousness that is recognizing the wholeness of spirit in yourself, and it blossoms out to everyone else. That's what being a practitioner really is. So thank you all very, very much.
Go ahead and stand in the middle. So it seemed appropriate to allow her two most recent graduates to give her her pen. Which has been sitting on my desk for 2 years. Now, beautiful. And so we have a practice here called a chamber of prayer, and I'm going to ask the practitioners to leave their seats and come stand in a circle around our three beloveds, including Sandy, who thought she was finally going to get to sit down. What this will look like is each of us murmuring a prayer. We will each be doing prayer treatment. And we surround these beloveds in prayer because that is what we do. I will ask that each of you speak a word of blessing, knowing it will be returned to you 100-fold over the course of time. And so even if you just reach out your hands and think good, that is a blessing. And I'll ask you just to remain in the silence until it is fully complete. But this might be turned down just a bit, a touch hot. So we're going to have our final prayer. We begin and end everything in prayer. So I will ask Mel to come up the podium and do our final prayer. And then we'll have our recessional that the board, then the practitioners, and then all of us will leave. We'll get out of the way and let you guys process last. How's that? I think that's how it goes. I don't know. Okay.
Wherever love is leading us, we will go. We will go. We will go with rhythm.
We're going, everybody. We're going.
Oh, we are an entertaining and a joyful bunch, aren't we? So in the presence of all that always has been, is now, and ever shall be, by whatever name you call it, God, Spirit, great leader, we know that that presence has been in this room and has had its way with each and every one of us. And as Ernest, to paraphrase what Ernest Holmes said when he was asked, what do I believe? I believe in the individual soul forever and ever expanding. There is not a soul in this room that has not had the opportunity and the experience of expanding this day. And for that, and for what has begun, and for what continues, we leave this room in such thanksgiving, such great joy, and such knowledge that God has treated us so well, and that we shall return that with every fiber of our spiritual being. And so it is.
Now. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Party going on right here. A dedication lasts throughout the year. So bring a good time and your laughter too. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna party with you. Come on in. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to get together. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world. Good times come on. Let's celebrate. Party going on right here. A celebration lasts throughout the year. So bring your good times and your laughter too. Hey, oh, we're gonna celebrate and gonna party with you. Come on in. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. Time to get together. It's up to you and what's your pleasure. That's right. I think that's right. Hey, good times, come on. Let's celebrate. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. We're gonna celebrate. I said we're gonna celebrate, y'all. Ain't gonna stop at one time, no, ain't never gonna stop. I said we're gonna celebrate. I said we're gonna. We're gonna. That's what I said, that's what I said, that's what I said. I said we're gonna celebrate and have a we're gonna celebrate and have a good time. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. We're gonna fade this one. Got fade out of here, you know. I said we're gonna celebrate.